So far, we've been on quite a journey together. We've unpacked life, the universe, and everything, talking about what God is, what the essence of life is, what the purpose of life is, where life comes from, the ultimate destination of life and of evolution. We've talked about individual spirituality and the process of ascension. We've talked about service work and giving back to humanity. We've talked about the process of spirit descending and taking up embodiment and presence here on planet Earth. We've talked about frequency. We've talked about energy. We've talked about our interconnectedness and our oneness with other people and with the planet and with everything in existence. We've spoken about how to maintain our own energy field and how to uplift and to support others whilst not taking from or without that process of giving and of support being detrimental to the self. And today we're going to finish off part 1 of my book, Healing, Wholeness and God Realisation, by reading chapters 14 and 15, which deal with relationships. They deal with the topic of healthy and unhealthy relationships. What an ideal, spiritually serving and spiritually evolving relationship looks like versus what the average person seeks out and seeks to gain from their human relationships. As like I mentioned before a few times, human relationships are a minefield on this planet, so any clarity we can get on the topic is going to be beneficial. And I know there are a great many of you out there who struggle with relating and knowing how to relate from a wholesome, altruistic, but also self-loving space. And it can get tricky to be able to discern the difference between and the fine line that runs between a relationship which is challenging because it challenges you to evolve and to confront yourself and to become better and to heal. That's always going to be challenging, and relationships should be challenging. But then there's this fine line where it kind of wobbles over into the territory of just being an abusive relationship, or a relationship that doesn't actually serve and is actually just detrimental and dragging the self and the other person down. So let's take a deep dive. This is going to be a little bit of a longer read, but it's a worthwhile read, and it's worth listening right through till the end and reflecting deeply on your own relationships and the kind of relationships that you want to be having and that you want to be attracting and healthfully contributing to as well, because you're an important part of this too. So let's begin reading chapter 14, which is titled Healthy Relationships. Most of humanity believes that a good relationship is one which makes you feel better. There is a fairy tale version of human relationships, especially romantic relationships, which emphasizes sympathy, sentimentality, dependency, and entanglement. A successful relationship is believed to be one which is easy, where no disagreements are had, where everything is lovely and feels good and safe and comfortable. People long to feel wanted, to be special, to be needed, to be absolutely essential to someone else. People treat their relationships like addictions. They use their relationships to escape how they're feeling. They transfer their low self-worth to someone else who props them up where they feel faulty and who causes them to feel that they are actually okay. People seek the highs of passionate, sentimental love. They want to matter, and they want to know that they are irreplaceable. People seek relief from their own internal realities through their relationships with others. They use other people as a means of escape, devastated when a relationship ends because suddenly they are left with the dysfunction which the relationship was temporarily holding at bay. People come to expect certain things from their relationships. When you meet someone, a sort of relationship contract is energetically written up and agreed to. I like you because you provide me with this and this and this, and because you make me feel this way. I will continue to provide you with what you get from me for as long as you fulfill your end of the relationship deal. It may not be spoken of, but it's there. You have your good time friend, you have the person that you go to when you need advice. You may have a friend who you can slob around with. You may have your fitness friend, your diet friend, your friend who you unburden yourself to, your friend who makes you feel special or needed, your clever friend, your party friend, your fiery friend, your no problems friend, your work friend, etc. In all of these relationships, you get something and the other person gets something in return. There is nothing fundamentally wrong with this. It is right and natural that there is a give and take in relationships. We should always benefit from having people in our lives, and they should always benefit from having us in their lives. But I put to you that relationships should be about supporting your growth and your evolution, rather than serving you by distracting from your dysfunctions and filling the holes in your self-esteem. Relationships should not be about entanglement and codependency. They should instead be about building and championing sovereignty and co-creation. Relationships should indeed be uplifting, but not in a sentimental, easy kind of way. Rather, they should be uplifting in a growth-filled and sometimes challenging kind of way. If you really love someone, truly and unconditionally love them, then you always want what is best for their growth and their evolution. If you love someone and you see them behaving like an idiot, perhaps the most selfless and loving thing you can do is tell them that they are behaving like an idiot. According to their individual capabilities and degrees of insight, hold the bar high and encourage your loved ones to be the best that they can be. Champion them, cheer them on, call them on their poor behavior when it is appropriate. Express your gratitude and your love. Be the kind of companion who allows your loved ones to grow and who excitedly grows with them, gratefully receiving the reflections which are offered to you in return. Instead of shallow, feel-good relationships, seek deep, evolution-oriented relationships which challenge you, confront you, and cause you to be better. Bring self-reflection and self-confront to your relationships so that you can see your dysfunctional patterns and resolve them. Look for your attachments, your needs, your insecurities, and gratefully transform them into sovereignty and a sound, fulfilling relationship with yourself. Relationships should cause you to grow. Relationships should not see your power being taken away from you, and they should not cause you to become small or dependent. You should not feel tangled up and lost in your relationships. A truly healthy relationship happens when two whole, complete units choose to come together to raise each other up. There is no dependency, no addiction, no desperate grasping. To come together is a choice. Both parties are freely choosing to be there, to do the hard work, to challenge and to love each other, because both parties are benefiting from the relationship and find genuine joy in the relating. You should never feel bound by another, and others should never feel bound by you. Relationships do not need to be forever. People come together for a time, learn and grow and benefit from each other, and then it is natural that they perhaps move on. As you grow and change, or as the other person grows and changes, your needs grow and change as well. If you are on a conscious path of evolution, you will be in a continuous state of transformation. Some people will keep up with you and may even be around for an entire life, while others may naturally follow a different path to you as you make different choices and prioritize different things. This is okay. The parting does not take from the beauty and the love of the time that you journeyed together. Endings do not need to be bitter or discordant or painful. They can be profound and love-filled experiences. Always be grateful to the ones who have loved with you. By doing so, you honor their memory and continue to reap the benefits of the relationship long after its end. If you truly love someone, then you will always want them to soar. You will always want them to follow the path which sees their success and their evolution. You will always champion them when they make choices which bring them closer to the actualization of their potential, and certainly you will call them out when they make fear-based choices which cause them to degrade, but ultimately even then you will respect their choices and genuinely wish them well, even if it means that they leave you behind. An evolutionarily successful relationship is compassionate and selfless. It always allows the other party the right to choose and to change their mind at any time. Perfect love is, indeed, perfect in its freedom. Find for yourself the kind of people who truly want what is best for you and who you can selflessly champion in return. Let your relationships be about growth and realization and transformation, rather than being dragged down by sentimentality, entanglement, and the fulfillment of dysfunctional patterns. As always, be discerning and have your boundaries set at unconditional love, being honest in your self-reflections as you catch and internally work to resolve your needs and dysfunctional patterns, but do be open to practicing giving and receiving unconditional love and support. Do not be afraid to love because you fear loss, for true love continues unconditionally, regardless of physical proximity. That's the end of chapter 14, which is a nice little segue and introduction to our chapter 15, which is titled, Those Who Love You and Those Who Feed Off You. Everyone has a unique vibrational quality. This vibrational quality reflects the energetic composition of the individual's inner and outer realities. You can feel the kind of person that someone is before even hearing them speak, or before even seeing them with your eyes if you have honed your sensitivity in this way. You can recognize people who share a similar reality to you through resonance. You will be energetically and perhaps physically drawn and attracted to people who resonate similarly to you. If their mind works similarly to yours, if you are interested cognitively in the same sort of things, if you are of equal intelligence and curiosity, then you may experience a great mental rapport which draws you together. The same can be said of physical, emotional, psychological, spiritual, genetic, situational, and experience-based realities. You can energetically recognize the people who are most similar to you. There is a natural sympathetic resonance, a shared energetic reality. In these kinds of relationships, where there is at least a partial similarity in frequency and vibration, the coming together feels natural. You are attracted, you are drawn, you recognize something familiar in each other. Energetically, you resonate together. These relationships are rare and precious, and can be either a blessing or a curse. If you enter into a relationship with someone who resonates similarly to you, and you are both focused on growth and evolution, then you have the opportunity to be involved in a wonderful relationship filled with joyous, exponential transformation. Because of your similarity in frequency, energetic communication and sharing, with boundaries set at unconditional love, can be smooth and seamless. If this is a healthy relationship, realizations and growth can happen almost in unison. As one has a realization, they can energetically impress this realization on the other through love and never by voiding the other's boundaries, and the other can have their own version of the same realization. It can be a continual experience of raising each other up, constantly refining and raising the bar, challenging each other to step up and to be better, shimmying and dancing with each other into new realms of God realization. This kind of relationship can be the fertile birthing place of a shared energetic reality which honors and encourages sovereignty, but also champions growth and transformation. If this kind of relationship is an unhealthy one, however, one filled with insecurities and attachments and needs and entanglements and dysfunctional patterns and dependencies, then sympathetic resonance can become an evolutionary curse. It can be easy to seek comfort and familiarity in such relationships. It can be tempting to take a break from the challenges of evolution and instead choose to stop growing and to stay the same. Similarity and familiarity can become a reason or excuse to accept certain behaviors or emotional and mental habits which really should be outgrown or refined. After a lifetime of feeling lonely or unseen or different, it can be tempting to kick back and stagnate. I am actually okay. I am not alone, I am seen, and it is okay for me to be exactly as I am. Whilst it can indeed be a helpful and healing experience to finally be seen and accepted exactly as you are, enabling the release of self-judgment and the adoption of more self-acceptance and love, do not linger long enough for self-acceptance to morph into self-indulgence. Take your much-needed breath of fresh air, but then continue searching and evolving. Let yourself be seen and know that you are not alone. Accept that there has never been anything wrong with you, but do not forget that your focus is forward-facing. Do not let familiarity breed contentment. Instead of melting into your new relationship, partnering up in and excusing your weaknesses, use your new relationship as momentum and as a means to drive you forward. Bounce off each other, grow with each other. Let this relationship become a blessing to your evolution as you raise each other up, and be wary of anything which makes you feel like you should stop growing or that you should stay the same. Comfort is the antithesis to evolution. In a similar way, relationships with people who are vibrationally different to you can be a curse or a blessing. You will meet people who you do not gel with, so to speak. They resonate in a way which does not naturally complement the frequency at which you resonate. When these people enter into your environment, it may feel discordant, like you're quite literally rubbing each other up the wrong way. There is no natural melding, no tendency or temptation to collapse into each other. You are existing in different vibrational realities, and you're quite happy to keep it that way. This does not necessarily mean that either one of you is wrong. It does not even necessarily mean that one of you is more evolved or God-realized than the other. It can simply mean that you are plugged into different bandwidths. The energy which has come together to build your bodies is different. For example, your mental body may be a manifestation of the qualities of scientific inquiry and illumination, whilst the other person's mental body may be an exploration of the qualities of creativity and love. Your emotional body may resonate with the frequencies of strength, will, and power, whilst their emotional body may resonate with the frequencies of magic, mystery, and transformation. You may be more sovereign by nature, while they may be learning of life through acts of devotion and aspiration. None of this is wrong or right, better or worse. All avenues of exploration, growth, and development are being explored and extrapolated out into the form world. The great experience and full expression of God depends upon these differences. It is not the variations in the differing frequencies themselves which matter, but rather it is the refinement or the higher or lower expressions of these frequencies which should be focused upon. There is a low or base, meaning a very low vibration, expression of strength, will, and power, just as there is a love and service-oriented higher expression of strength, will, and power. Strength, will, and power, in their most basic forms, can be destructive. They can be ego-fueled and selfish. This combined frequency can be used and wielded to gain power over other, to dominate nature, to consume, destroy, and violate. In its higher or more refined vibration, however, the combined frequency of strength, will, and power can be wielded in service of love. It can be a great and stabilizing force which brings harmony, direction, purpose, and motivation. In its purest form and when motivated by love, this frequency is the activity and manifestation of love, the motion of love converted into form and action. Without this frequency, love can be loose and unruly, ungrounded, amorphous, void of productivity, and whimsical in nature. All frequencies are of value and can come together to balance each other out, lending themselves to create something which is truly holistic, robust, and magical. Do not be afraid or in judgment of those frequencies which do not come naturally to you. Sometimes a person feels discordant to you, or it feels like it is difficult to truly get close to someone simply because the frequencies or the qualities that they embody feel so different to the ones being housed by your bodies. This person may be holding a very clear vibration of a frequency that you just don't yet recognize or with which you take issue. Someone who is ungrounded, mystical, curious, creative, and gentle may find it confronting and difficult to be around someone who is strong, robust, focused, sovereign, and inquiring. They may even blame this strong and sovereign individual for being the source of all that is wrong and broken in the world because they have previously experienced harm at the hands of someone who expressed a very low vibration of these frequencies. They may see the destruction in the world, the misuse of will and strength, and feel repulsed when they meet someone who is unashamedly embodying the higher vibration of this energy. Similarly, but from the opposite perspective, someone who is strong, steady, focused, grounded, consistent, and comfortable with power may feel repulsed by someone who is ungrounded, mystical, creative, curious, highly emotional, and deeply identified with nature. They may have experienced harm at the hands of someone who is embodying the lower vibration of this frequency and even blame them for all that is wrong in the world. They may resent and feel that they can't depend upon someone with such a lack of strength and clarity, finding them erratic, frivolous, and difficult to motivate into action. Each may feel repulsed, and there may be a general sense of discord, but if each individual is truly aligned to truth, feeling beyond their immediate reactions and choosing to attune themselves to the whisperings and intentions of the soul, then to enter into such a relationship may be of benefit to each other, or to each. If you meet someone and, despite your inclination to stay away from them, you feel and recognize that they are holding a high enough vibration of a quality which you struggle with, which you are yet to integrate, or with which you take issue because of your judgments or because of a lack of understanding, then there may indeed be much that you can learn from them, just as there may be much that they can learn from you. The high vibration of their love or clarity will inevitably highlight your own issues with the frequency which they are holding and bringing to you. Just as higher vibrational energy and love from your own higher self will wash up the pain and dysfunction which is counterproductive to the integration of new energy, high vibrational expressions of certain frequencies in another can trigger or highlight your pain and dysfunction regarding the frequency that they bring to you. The aim of the game is to be as well-rounded as possible, to be evolved and clear and able to express across as many of these frequencies as possible. If there is something which is defective or missing in you, then part of your transformation will eventually be to develop and hold this frequency in your own right. The realization of God is the realization of as many parts of God as possible. To truly love unconditionally is to be able to love unconditionally in as many ways as possible. If it is clear and if the guidance is there, then relating with people with whom you feel discord or discomfort can be a deeply growthful experience. You can learn much about yourself, develop compassion and understanding, have a different experience, keep each other honest and true, balance each other out with the aim of sovereign harmony within each individual, develop greater mastery, and realize more of God. Do not shy away or recoil simply because it feels uncomfortable. Growing pains always accompany growth. Aim to not be afraid of being challenged. Do not, however, be foolhardy with this guidance. It is so important that you are able to feel beyond your negative ego reactions and receive instruction from the knowing which resounds in your heart. Sometimes you will feel repulsed by someone simply because they are not good for you. Not everyone is holding a similar vibration to you. Some people are still very deeply immersed in the expression of the lower vibrations of certain qualities. Your boundaries of unconditional love are of paramount importance here. You do not just let anyone in, and you do not sacrifice yourself and your own energy to embrace individuals who will, intentionally or not, cause you harm. If someone is holding a vibration which is lower than the one that you are holding, and if your boundaries are in place, then they will not be able to get in or have access to you. You simply won't be able to relate with them in any deep or meaningful way, and any exchange will be superficial. If they persist or insist despite your boundaries, you will feel this. Remember, the soul communicates with you through the heart center. Knowing or gnosis resides there. The heart center can and should become your inner compass and guide. If you are truly tuned into your heart, which is different to being tuned into the negative ego, which is only interested in self-preservation as well as its own likes and dislikes, and the message is a clear no, then regardless of your own opinions or the opinions of the other person, do not violate your boundaries and let them in. If you get the heebie-jeebies, and I know you will understand what I mean by that, it is a feeling that all of your bodies respond to, even your physical body becoming alert and ready to run or fight. Take that feeling seriously and heed its warning. It is worth noting here that sometimes the nervousness or excitement that you feel in a person's presence is actually your heebie-jeebie radar alerting you to an issue, your inner compass picking up on something which is not obvious to you and encouraging you to get far away. Your inner compass can and will guide you and keep you safe. If someone or some place or some situation or some thought or some activity sets off the heebie-jeebie alarm housed in your heart, then nothing is a clearer signal that you must change course. Remember that you can change your mind at any time. Even if you are in the midst of something which suddenly sets off the alarm, it is your right to change course. You are always allowed to step back and say no, even if moments before you were saying yes. You must learn to trust this inner compass, to return to the knowing, to consult the heart. You do this by heeding these warnings and this guidance and by responding accordingly. Part of reattuning to your internal guidance system is in the acceptance and acknowledgement that not all people are good or well-intentioned. Some people simply enjoy being assholes, and some people are just straight up malicious or evil by nature. These people are like a balloon which is so chronically deflated and pockmarked, so void and lacking in love and God qualities, that the only way they can inflate themselves is by taking the air from other balloons. Some will do this aggressively, by force, openly and obviously destroying others or beating them down to make themselves feel better, whilst others will be more devious in their approach. Narcissists and psychopaths are incredibly intelligent and will find ways to convince their targets to feed them by their own free will. They will deceive and trick, causing you to believe that they hold the same qualities and intentions as you. They just want what's best for you. They seek to uplift you, to raise you up, to make you better. They are clever enough to know all the right things to say to trick you into lowering your boundaries. And they are clever enough to know that the best lies are 99% truth. It's a game to them, akin to a cat torturing its prey with play before eventually killing it and eating it, though with malicious intent instead of playfulness. For these people, you are a goal, and the higher your vibration, the greater the satisfaction and the more satiating the feed. You must never lower your boundaries for anyone, ever. Your boundaries must be a permanent fixture. Anyone who meets your standards of unconditional love will be naturally able to resonate in your immediate sphere. The energy knows the intention and the vibration of the other person. Any person who truly passes the tests of your boundaries will respect your boundaries and will never ask you to take them down for them. Your boundaries are not a hindrance nor a nuisance to these people. It is only ever the people who cannot get through your boundaries who will ask you to take them down or to make exceptions for them. They know that for as long as your boundaries are in place, they cannot get through and they cannot feed. This should always be a warning sign. Keep your boundaries in place, no matter how challenging or tempting it is to lower them. And trust the feeling that you get as you hold yourself in clarity and as others bang up against your boundaries looking for a way in. You will feel the malintent of people who wish you harm. You will feel repulsed in your heart as opposed to your negative ego, which may, in fact, feel very drawn and attracted to these people. You will feel the frustration and desperation of the ones who cannot gain access. You will recognize their cleverness and their deceit. Listen to this knowing and simply stay away from these people. No good can come from having a relationship with them. They will want you to believe that they will be different with you, that you can save them, that they will change for you. This must be received as a warning sign. If change is promised, let the change first be witnessed and demonstrated. Out of self-love and self-respect, simply choose not to engage. You cannot be good for these people. You can only feed them, cause yourself harm, and perpetuate their destructive behavior. Choose not to be a player in their game. Choose not to lend your energy to such maliciousness and evil. Use your energy for things and people which are deserving of your care and love. You must protect that which is sacred in you. Do not heed this warning as an absolute, and do not now go into fear, suspicious and expecting the worst of everyone who wishes to engage with you. Once we have experienced harm at the hands of another, And once we have removed the rose-colored glasses which cloud our vision and cause us to believe that all is good and beautiful in the world, it can be tempting to isolate the heart and to become wary, suspicious, and bitter. This is not the solution. The solution is to open the heart in such a way and to such a degree that your love becomes fearless and the knowing resounds there so strongly that you always hear its whispers and heed its warnings. You do not need to assign your mind with the role of protecting you. The love knows how to protect itself. You need only set your boundaries in place, turn your heart and your mind to the soul, be grounded and present here now. Fill your heart and your bodies with a highly vibrating love which acts as a natural barrier and buffer and which makes it clear when you are encountering something which is less than love. Be honest and truthful in your introspections and actively accept, acknowledge, feel and release anything in you which could cause you to either shut your heart down or to extend out beyond yourself in such a way that you violate your own boundaries. It requires a presence and steadiness of mind, an active state of surrender, a consistent attention on your energetic environment and activities, and an emotional robustness. But from this alone, all of your experience will change, and deep and profound healing can begin to occur on a physical, emotional, mental, psychological, and spiritual level. How can you heal if you do not even know where you end and others begin? This understanding and these practices are absolutely foundational and essential in both your healing and your ascending descension into the mind of God. All attempts at healing and reawakening fall short without a firm foundation upon which to stand. So that brings us to the end of that chapter and part 1 of our book. And part 2, which is titled Healing the Whole Self and Healing at Causal Level, deals more with, as the title suggests, healing. So we've got our spiritual foundation in place with part 1. We've got an understanding of the cosmos and of ourselves and of energy and of vibration. And then in our next chapter, we take a deep dive into multi-dimensional healing. We've got that structure, we've got that foundation in place. Now, how do we transform? What do we do about it? How do we grow into and embody the ideal? And we will kick off into that topic in our next reading. And for now, that's all. Thanks for joining me.